I'm so fucking happy. Oh my god. Let me see what your question is. Holy shit. Holy shit. Let me just relax. I just need to calm down for a moment. I'm really happy with that. Okay, since you went from controller to keyboard, what are the ups and downs to play style? Oh, let me explain it, okay? I'm gonna explain it, okay? Okay. I'm going to explain why I play keyboard. It's because it's so fucking simple. I could not keep my keys from misfiring when I played on a controller. I could not keep my keys working at all. If I take my webcam and I'm gonna bring my webcam to show my fucking my keyboard in a moment, and then you're gonna see what my keyboard looks like right now. Okay, so right here, the keys Z, S, and X, these three keys, I hit these three keys, and you can see Z, there's a chip in it, and S and X, these are, like, let me just say, they're very, very worn down. So is the shift key, because I use the shift key. But then, if we look at the space bar, there's very visible fucking just, like, from repeatedly hitting the space bar, I have literally, like, just, it's like I've sanded it down. Like, the camera view is not the best view. I wish I could get it more stable, but it's indented. Like, oh, when I do an above view like that, you can very, very clearly see the damage in the space bar, and it's like very clearly indented if I try to hold it still. I can replace a keyboard, and with 2DX keys are expensive. 2DX keys have like way more. They have more to them, you know. Like, there's more parts of the 2DX keys that can break. So then, if you look at these keys, so these keys right here are out of place. So this key and this key are because I totally cracked them. Also, you can see that you know, one of the keys is cracked right above the spacebar. I'm gonna try to point to it. Right there, you can see the key's cracked. But I have I have the key super glued. So even though it's cracked, it's super glued on. Like, that's actually another thing. I super glue my fucking keys onto the thing, so that way I don't risk, like, just ripping them fucking off, because there's so much bouncing, and I'm just like, you know, it really fucks the keys. And you can see I'm missing that key, missing this key. Fuck the Windows key. Windows key can fuck off. Like, you know, I really don't like the Windows key. You know, I'm looking for the Windows key right now. I'd set that Windows key on fire. I fucking hate that Windows key. But, you know, really, I switched to keyboard because when I play high-level shit, I cannot stop breaking my keys. Because this game, I call this key smashing. I call this key smashing because this shit is key smashing. And I might as well highlight this and make this its own video. This is the video of why did I switch from controller to keyboard? I switched from controller to keyboard because I couldn't stop breaking my keys. And it was because it's like once you get to the highest levels of the game, you know, it's like the game literally becomes keyboard smashing. I smash my keys. Decent video. I'm gonna fucking I'll highlight that. And okay, so now I'll tell you the things that you want to know, which is like the pros and cons of it, because I fucking know it. Like, I've hard cleared the song Luisia, level 20. I've hard cleared that song on a controller, and I've hard cleared that song on a keyboard. So when you have a scratching input on keyboard, it becomes a digital input, and when you play on keyboard, the game becomes you have one extra button, because you can dual scratch. You can hit the scratch with 2 fingers instead of you know, with a wrist or like that. That's like an analog input, but you have one thing, which is like your arm or something. It's like your forearm or something that moves it if you're scratching on a controller. But you're able to split it to a digital input. And the digital input, you honestly cannot argue, it's more accurate, but it's harder to learn. So it's ultimately, so there's players like ABCD who've proven it's possible to be insanely good at dual scratch accuracy. and there's people who've proven it's possible, but there's less because it's like it's a harder thing to do dual scratch. I'm not there with my scratching ability as I am with my key ability. Because right now with my key ability, I can hard clear Air God, hard cleared a bunch of other 20s. I've hard cleared some decent amount of like Stella charts to where it's like full density at 180, full density at 170, full density at 200. It's like it's starting to get better and better for me to where it's like when I think about the game for me, it's less about 16th notes and the game is more about 16th note mini jacks, or the game is about 24th notes, such as the song Calamity Fortune Serpent level 20. That song has 16th note jacks at 200 BPM, and then it has 24th note density at 200 BPM, which is like ridiculous. But it's like, I think that basically explains it though. It's like, I fucking love this game. I really love BMS. It's a fun game, and I couldn't play it if I keep breaking my keys because I don't got nothing to play with. So it's like, shit, let me just learn how to play with a keyboard. And I remember I learned to play with keyboard while I was playing on controller because, like, I also have a fascination with nice keyboards, with like nice mechanical switches. They feel nice. You play a lot of video games, and it's like you start caring about them fucking keys that you hit so much. So when I bought a really nice keyboard, I made a keyboard BMS account, and it's my main account now. I'm a retired controller player. Scratch is easier because more accurate input on Scratch. Like, honestly, I would... Maybe easier wouldn't be the better word, but it's ultimately better. Like, I think at the end, but it's so much more difficult. And it's also difficult because you need to split up your fucking brain to be able to do the quantization of whatever the rhythm, if it's a 16th, or if it's like a doo-doo, or if it's a 1-2, or 1-2-3-4. Like, and having to just be able to do on the fly doubles, or knowing when to mini jack, because it gets more deep, because when you have two buttons, you fucking have the option to on Mitsu. So first off, you can do on Mitsu, so you can actually do targeted spam to live through scratch walls if you play keyboard. Versus the argument for controller would be you can just spam, and you would argue that it's an easier physiological movement for a human to do do it like this. You could argue that, and you could argue it's harder to be more accurate. But at the end of the day, it's just like, I'm here because I love the game, and keyboard is the most accessible way to the game. And when I see the very, very, very best players, I actually have thought so much, especially like after, after seeing the fucking, I've done both playstyles. I've done controller and keyboard, and after doing both playstyles, like, I've thought about it so much about like what are the differences, and it's like it really doesn't matter. What matters is, are you a mechanic? If you're a mechanic, feel free to play controller. I'm not a fucking mechanic, so I play keyboard. That's another way. That's another way to put it. Like, I'm not a fucking mechanic. I'm also really happy I hard cleared that 16 though.